Hello, I'm Cosmic Jack. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Wanted to come on today and talk about Venus's journey these next couple of months, because Venus is now in Aries, and this is where she will actually station retrograde on March 1st. She will be retrograde in Aries pretty much all of March until March 27th. This is when we're running the feminine frequency. No coincidence. And then it will retrograde back into Pisces, where it will station direct. And then we'll have basically all of May to really review, rehash, and kind of cycle this Aries transit as Venus will then journey back through Aries. So Venus retrograde is important because it is a time to reflect and review on all matters of your heart, your feminine, and really like the things that you value and love. And Venus in Aries, it's funny because before I came on to do this video, I was like dancing around my apartment. I was listening to some 80s music, some 90s music, and honestly, just like go listen to, do yourself a favor and listen to some 80s and 90s music. It will make you nostalgic. It will make you happy. It will brighten your day, brighten your mood. And I was thinking about some of the people that I know with Venus and Aries. And I was just like, the thing that I love the most about my people with Venus and Aries is that they bring the energy. Like, they bring a good time. And, you know, my Venus is in Sagittarius, like, I'm all about a good time. And so I always just know that when I'm with a Venus and Aries person, I'm not going to be the only one, like, bringing the fun. You know what I mean? Like, I can count and rely on them to, like, be full of life and passion and enthusiasm. And, like, they bring the fun. You know what I mean? And that is because Aries rules aliveness, right? And like, I was like, I feel like I'm like gonna come on here a little bit and kick y'all's ass, just like I did to myself last year, because I was really like, Jacqueline, you are one of the most fun people, charismatic, joyous, happy people that I know, talking to myself. And I was like, when you prioritize your joy, your play, your pleasure, everything just works, right? Everything flows, everything is gorgeous, everything is great, everything is capiche. Like, the abundance comes, the people come, like, my luck finds me, you know what I mean? And that happens because I am prioritizing my energy, my heart, my values, the things that make me happy. Plus, I am just a naturally happy and joyous person. And so I was like in this like kind of like rut, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was just honestly disconnected from my magic. And if you're someone who has had your magic before and then you lose it, and it's not that it's lost, right? We were just going through some things. We were healing. There was just a lot happening. And we were basically going through a major up level. But I was just like, okay, I am going to, instead of trying to force this thing and trying to make this thing work, I'm just going to come back to myself and prioritize my joy and the things that make me happy, because that is when the life flows. And so I have just become like this fully embodied feminine woman who everything revolves around the feminine. And we live in a world where everything is prioritized and revolves around the masculine. And I've tried that way. It doesn't work for me. If it works for you and you're happy, like, more power to you. But for me, it just doesn't work for me. I was so fucking unhappy and miserable. And so now I'm like creating this life where I live my life and then I work and I do the things I gotta do. And like, but like my career, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say this online. My career is not my like main focus, right? And it's not that it's not a priority and it's not a passion of mine and it's not, doesn't make me feel purposeful, because it does all of those things. But when I am putting that stuff first, I am neglecting my inner feminine, and I am not as happy as a person. And so then I'm not bringing that joy and that magnetism into my business, right? I'm not bringing it into the things that like support me and provide me the structure, provide me the safety. And so I've kind of had to like flip my life on its head and be like, no, I'm a person that lives my life, and then I do this thing and I do these jobs and I work these things and I am of service and I come on and I talk about it with y'all on YouTube, right? But if I'm not prioritizing my happiness and my joy first, then like, what's the fucking point? Like, I became an entrepreneur, became a freelancer to like have the freedom, have the space, have the fun, have the leisure, have like the freedom to choose and do what I want. And it just like wasn't working, right? And so I was like, I need to switch this up, right? And so what I just like, and here's the thing, when you're taking your power back, taking my power back is really what I had to do. I had to take my power back from certain relationships, from certain clients, from certain things in business, through certain friendships, just like literally like energy, like where I was leaking my energy. Because here's the thing, when you're a naturally joyous, happy person, what happens? Everyone wants to be around you, right? Everyone wants to be all cozied and cuddled up with you. And what was happening was I didn't have boundaries. And so I would just literally let people like pour it into me and drain my fucking joy. And so I had to take all of my power back, and set these boundaries and really prioritize myself, my values, my heart, my passions, my purpose, my happiness first. And that is what Aries teaches us. That's why everyone got their ass kicked last year with the South Node in Libra, because the medicine was Aries. And so this Venus in Aries, like extended period and extended cycle, is like, are you gonna do the same thing? Are you gonna put your heart first? Are you gonna put your values first? Are you gonna put the things that make you come alive at first? Or are you gonna continue to leak your joy and leak your energy to everyone else? Because let me tell you, that is the thing that blocks your heart. And when your heart is closed, then you can't manifest the magic and the miracles that like God wants to send to you, because your heart's not open. And like the people pleasing, codependency, judgment, all of that shit gets stuck in your heart. And your heart is your electromagnetic field. Picture the sun. It's ruled by Leo. I'm gonna burp here, so bear with me. Confirmation. Think about the sun. Right? The sun like radiates fucking heat. It has a gravitational pull of like, it literally like all of the planets gravitate around it, right? Because that is the power of its electromagnetic field. It is always burning. It is always shining, right? It is always sunny on the sun. And so that is what happens to you. Like your light is then just always turned on when you have boundaries around your heart, right? And that can be confronting when you're someone whose survival instincts and your coping mechanisms has relied on other people for so long, which was my case, right? Because like I wasn't able to fully regulate the safety on my own in my own body. And so having these like open connections and cords with people and all these things allowed me to like kind of, it was like a mutual beneficial thing. Like we were plugged and corded into each other, right? But then I took my power back, right? And what does empowerment mean? Empowerment means you can create safety on your own. Hello, boundaries, right? And you can't say Aries without boundaries, right? And so Aries really teaches us the power of putting ourselves first, right? And I always say that Aries make really good parents because they prioritize and take care of themselves first. And so then they can give from an overflowing cup. Imagine if the sun was like had leaky fucking boundaries. Like Earth would probably die, right? Because we're reliant on the sun for life, right? Imagine if the sun was like leaking boundaries to like Venus, right? It was just like giving all of its light to Venus, and so none of the other planets had any. And right? Like that is what happens to you and to your universe, your own like universe, the universe that revolves around you, when you are giving and giving and giving your light without boundaries. Because when you have boundaries and you're anchored and have that grounded masculine to rely on and to support you, because you assert your boundaries with your masculine, which is why Aries are so, we can all just learn so much from our Aries queens, but they're so magnetic because they have strong boundaries, right? And so this looks like you using actually your masculine and really raising the standards, raising the boundaries, raising your self-value, raising your self-worth, and saying no to anything that also doesn't pour love and joy back into you, right? Because we really, just as a collective, as women, just really need to raise our standards. I'm like, our standards as a species is so it's like on the fucking floor, right? And so you have to raise your standards and really like just raise the bottom fucking bar of like what you'll tolerate. Because a lot of people have high standards, but they also like accept way too low, which doesn't happen when you have boundaries. And really then you can like just write down all of the things that you value about yourself and the things that you want. And then you can write out a list and like literally just take action in alignment to prioritize all of those things. I really spent all of January like recalibrating my worth and my standards. I like got myself pampered, basically. I did a lot of like simple things, like painted the nails, like started wearing my jewelry, just started like, you know, amped up my self-care routines. I started just like dressing differently. I started dressing more womanly. You know, just things like easy things that you probably already have, like just doing the makeup, right? Just doing things that show the universe that you value and you take care of and you prioritize yourself. And I swear, I also committed to an adventure, 1 to 2, like an adventure a week, an adventure a weekend. So that means I was adventuring twice a week, because that is what my Venus and Sagittarius loves. I love an adventure. And that can be just as simple as like going to the fucking beach, right? But changing up the scenery, changing up my routine makes me happy. It brings in flow. It collides me with different realities, right? And so really get acquainted with your Venus and be like, girl, what's gonna make you happy? What's gonna make you happy? Because you have to make yourself happy first. And that is what Aries teaches us. Aries are good parents, and because they literally prioritize themselves first. They're great partners because they prioritize themselves first. I have so many Aries girlfriends. Guess what? They prioritize themselves first. And what happens when you do that is everything that benefited from you not having strong boundaries falls away. And that can be confronting, that can be painful, that can hurt, I get it. More than that. But then realize how much energy you have back for yourself. Because I promise you, there are small, little, subtle energy leaks where you're giving your light away to people that don't deserve it. And here's the thing too, like, because I think like the biggest pattern that I see with women is setting boundaries can confront your safety, right? Because as a child, not having boundaries, like boundaries aren't as important as like you having food, right? Staying alive is more important than like getting your needs met, right? Survival trumps your needs, your value, you having fun, like you being happy. Survival is the trump card. It trumps everything. And so what happens when you start to assert yourself differently is those survival instincts can kind of kick on, and your ego will kick up and try and protect you and make excuses for you to not set boundaries or not value yourself in that way, or for you to, like, it's too scary to prioritize your feminine. Like, your ego will come up with excuses because it tries to protect you, which is really sweet and cute of the ego. But it doesn't work for the soul and the heart, right? The ego lives in the root chakra. So anytime you feel like those like root chakra attacks, you feel the fear, you feel the limiting beliefs, you feel the lack, you feel the scarcity, that is when your ego speaks to you. That is when your ego starts telling you stories. And so it's important to have awareness of that in the present moment so that you can take action to negate that and to quiet and soothe the ego. Because your actions and your behaviors determine what you have, what's in your reality. And so if your actions are saying, yeah, I don't have any boundaries, everyone just come in and have a piece of my light, the universe is like, great, she's fine with the chaos. We'll just give her more fucking chaos, right? And so it's really, really important to really firm up the boundaries around your heart. And the other thing that I see a lot of women do is they will get hurt. And so instead of integrating boundaries, they'll close their heart, right? And I will tell women, I'm like, you don't keep that heart wide fucking open, baby. Just integrate boundaries, which means you have to befriend masculine energy. And so go hang out with people who have strong masculine energy, because a lot of people don't necessarily always understand like what masculine energy looks and feels like, because that is a whole different topic. But like, no, like befriend someone who has strong boundaries. Go like on a date with a guy who has strong boundaries. I promise you, guys have such strong boundaries around their work. They teach me so much about boundaries just by like how they just like prioritize their work. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, like it's a hot boundary. Like you just have that boundary. And it teaches you how to do it, right? Because us as like, I swear women could solve all of their problems if they just firmed up their boundaries and learned to come back into their bodies. Because it's like we're up here because we don't have the masculine to ground us in. And so you come back into your body by taking action with your masculine, which then reconciles the trust with your own inner masculine. And so then you feel safe because you can protect yourself and you got yourself. And then you're like, oh, I can relax. You can relax, and because your masculine has you. I said this to myself this morning. I was like upset about something, and like in the past, there was always like a certain person when I was upset I would want to text, and I literally said to myself, I was like, I'm your daddy now. I'm your daddy now. I got you. You can cry right here. You can be sad right here, but we're no longer like outsourcing like the masculine to someone else. It's like, I got you, we're here. And I immediately just like softened. It was like, okay, all right, she's got it. And so this Venus and Aries energy it's a funny energy because it's ruled by Mars, your masculine, right? And Venus is your feminine. But there's so much we can learn from this Venus and Aries energy because it's supporting you in asserting your boundaries, right? Having confidence, having conviction, being self-interested, prioritizing yourself, putting your own needs first, right? Having those boundaries and really just connecting back to that feminine inner confidence. Aries is just like the strike of a match. It is quick to fire. It is quick to flame. And it just is lively, right? And so if you want to feel more alive in your life, it starts with you bringing and calling all of your energy back by setting those boundaries with yourself. Because sometimes that's the person you need to set boundaries with is your own self. To not reach out to that person, which we'll want to do with Venus retrograde, trust me. So what I always say about retrogrades, I'm like, yeah, people always say like, yeah, your ex will come back. I'm like, sometimes you're that ex. Sometimes you're that ex that wants to reach back out. And you have to have boundaries with yourself to not fucking text the person, right? Not to reach out. And so sometimes you just have to love and value yourself first. Prioritize yourself first. Not sometimes, all the time, right? And then see if you still want to text that person. If you are meeting your own needs and if you are happy and you have everything that you want and you are independent and you are sovereign, would you still want to text that person? Probably not, right? Probably not. And then too, like that would come from a taking place, not a giving place, which is a whole other tangent. But that is really why Aries are so magnetic, because they are self-servant and they are independent and their universe revolves around you. And when your universe revolves around you, other things will revolve around you. Funny how that works. The universe is like, oh, she has standards, and like, so now only those things that meet her standard can get in, right? I always describe this like energy as like the queen. Imagine the queen in the castle. She's only letting the people in. She has like guards to protect her, right? She has probably like some sort of security checklist, like evaluating the people who want into her castle, right? You don't pass the motherfucking background check, you're not getting to see the queen, right? And that's what Venus and Aries is here to remind you and to teach you to guard and protect your heart, because that is your value. So how do you need to do this for yourself? How can you reprioritize the things that make you feel alive? How can you put yourself first above everything else, above your kids, above your husband, above your job, everything else? What would that look like? What would that look like? And watch how much more energy comes back into you and how much your inner light starts to turn back on. Because I will tell you, just this morning, I set a fucking boundary. I fucking slayed that boundary, baby. And the happiness and the joy that my inner child felt, I was like, Mwah. I was like dancing down the street. Truly. And that's what people don't understand about setting boundaries, is like how happy it makes your inner child. Because your inner child is like, oh damn, my adults got me. It's free for me to play. Like I'm not letting all of the dirt and the gunk and the mud into my life anymore. And so your inner child is like, great, we can play, we can have fun, we can be magnetic. Because who's more fucking magnetic than kids? I'll tell you. Maybe just like maybe a puppy. Maybe a puppy is the only other more magnetic. And so that is what we're going to be moving through the next few months. So I pulled some cards. It's just like, I mean, the cards always just match the astrology. So we have this Two of Wands card, which is kind of like the limbo card. It's like you're pitter pattering. It's like, you're like, do I want to go on the adventure? Like I have so many hopes and dreams and but like I'm a little scared. I'm a little wobbly. I know I should do that thing, but I'm scared. And this is like, bitch, just fucking do it. Make the decision. Prioritize yourself. Do what makes you happy. It's a new fucking start. It's a new energy. Anytime you want to start over, you can start over. Literally. Hit the reset button. Hit redo. Like, it's life. Like, we gotta stop being so goddamn serious. We gotta stop being serious. Like, I mean it. I mean it. One of the things that kept coming through to me as I was like shuffling these cards is like, your chariot awaits. And it's like, yes, your chariot is literally waiting outside, Cinderella. You gotta like say yes to the adventure though, and like to have the fairy tale, to have the prince, to have the fun. You gotta say yes, you know? It's on you. And then we have this like, of course, it's like everything will have this like resting recalibration energy. That's the energy of February anyway. I have a YouTube video on that. And then it's like everything you goddamn could ever want. All the synchronicities, all of the magic, the sun card, of course, your magnetism, literally all of the magic you could ever want is on the other side of you lightening the fuck up, prioritizing your heart, prioritizing your joy, prioritizing the things that make you feel alive, prioritizing the things that make you fucking happy. Because everyone wants to be around people that are happy. It was funny too, because literally like the lighten up card came out. I was like, yeah, what's more fucking direct than the lighten up card? We have the check-in card, and then we have the groundedness and the comfort card. My nails, I can't pick them up. Grounding and comfort. So we gotta establish a new baseline for ourselves. And that new baseline is joy. That new baseline is happiness. And if it's not adding to you and filling you up, out the door. Hit the road, Jack. Hit the goddamn road. Sayonara, sucker. we got to get these priorities right while Venus is in Aries, because as soon as she turns retrograde and then moves back into Pisces, it's going to be like a clearing and a release, which is what I think this Four of Swords is about. And the grounding and the comfort, because you're going to have to be checking in with yourself. And trust me, I have been doing so much goddamn releasing right now. My body is going through it. My body's a fucking stallion thoroughbred. I'm so grateful for its strength. I don't know how it's kept me alive and thriving after everything that it's gone through. But god damn it, I'm grateful. And so because the thing is, like, healing is a very physical process. Ascension is a very physical process. Raising your vibration is a very physical process. And so these patterns are held within your body, within your nervous system, which is why I say that you have to really be present with the ego and the mind when it kicks up, when you start to setting these new standards and these new boundaries, because it's like, you know, that saying of when the crab tries to exit the bucket and all the other crabs pull it back down. It's like you literally will do that with yourself. You will literally pull your own self back down because there's parts of you that are scared. There's parts of you that don't feel safe making that leap, taking that fool. But the spirit is saying, like, everything, like, you make the fucking bold move and you make the fucking leap, and you use that Aries initiation, that confidence, that chutzpah, right? That charge, and you make shit fucking happen. Like, the universe has got it. You just have to decide that you want more, and that you're ready for more. And I promise you will be a million times happier. So, I love the timing of this because I am hosting with my dear friend Jacq, who is also an astrologer and a powerful 7D AHAI energy healer, the feminine frequency, which is all about descending back into your body, getting out of your head, coming back into your body, healing your body through energy healing, clearing out your emotional energetic blocks so that your inner light can turn on, opening your heart chakra, turning your feminine all the way on, getting that inner glow that reflects the outer one, right? I was like telling a friend, I was like, I literally just like go on Instagram and like everyone's doing like the fucking facial gua sha, right? Aries rules the face. And I'm like, no one talks about how you just doing the inner work will like literally manifest your fucking glow up, right? I'm like, I don't get me wrong, I fucking love a gua sha. I gua sha every day, but like I also gua sha'd back then when my face didn't fucking look like this. I go on Instagram and people are like, you're glowing. And I'm like, yeah, we did the inner work. You can too. You just gotta, because here's the thing, whatever is on the inside will be reflected in your outside, right? I had another video on this on my YouTube you can check out about how to embody the divine feminine frequency. It's like whatever you're rating at, whatever is being squeezed out of you right now is what manifests in your reality. Are you radiating abundance? Are you radiating joy? Are you radiating happiness? Or the latter? And so too, when you're happy, internally happy, when your internal joy and your internal light is on, it will just naturally oozes out of your pores and it changes how you literally look. And so inside this container, that is the process we're taking you through, is literally having a head to toe glow up from the ground up. We're starting at the root chakra. We're moving through all of the chakras and we're clearing and cleansing them out so that you can literally hold more money, love, and abundance and set those fucking boundaries. Jacq has an Aries moon, so I learned so much from her about Aries energy. So come learn from the Aries queen, because that is going to be the thing that really allows your heart to open and flow, and just be a magnet for miracles. So I'll post the information for that down in the show notes. But that container is going to be running during this retrograde. So it's perfect timing to come back to your feminine heart, your feminine frequency, and really just turn your inner magic and your inner light on. So everything that you touch will be light, like the goddamn Lion King. Everything that you touch will be light. So sending you so much love and happy Venus in Aries. Bye.